Hello, welcome to the G.I. Joe New News Review. My name is David T. Allen, or Super Dave 817 if you would like. If you want to see more of this content, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Review. This is my original program on my channel, so it is I am very happy to be back on my original program. It's been a little while since I've done an episode of my review show, so there's a few things going on I wanted to talk about in the world of G.I. Joe, Hasbro, Yojo June, some cool new things that I've gotten in. So we are now in Yojo June. Have started. This is June 1st. If you're watching this episode, and so thank you everybody who's here in the chat. So a couple of things. First off, Yojo June is going to be starting off on June 4th. We got an announcement. Pulse is going to be having a show on June 4th at 11 p.m. That'll be Tuesday, the 4th of June. I pretty much predicted this not too long ago on another show that I am a co-host on, Toy Talk, Sunday afternoons at 2. Good morning, Crusty Old Crow. Thanks for joining us again. I don't think you've been on the actual G.I. Joe New News Review show. This is your first time being on here. Thank you, because it's been a little while since I've done an episode of my original show. So thank you for joining me, and good morning. So we're going to go into a few hot topics and show off a couple of things that I've gotten in and talk about some speculation and things that have come up. So along with Yojo June announcement from Pulse on Tuesday at 11 p.m., we also got a cool render of Budo. Now, there's been a list. I'm going to try to go over this list a little bit. That I got. Let's see. That was shown off at the Full Force around January. And this list consists of a lot of speculative items that are coming possibly in Yojo June, possibly in the future down the road. We still have San Diego Comic-Con, we have PulseCon, we have 1027, we have the European show. So there's a lot of opportunities for some of this stuff to still come out. But this list was posted in January, and it was shared by the Full Force, Chris McLeod, Diagnostic 80 in January. And I'm going to go over some of the stuff. And some of this stuff you'll see that has already come out. Some of these predictions have already come out. Let's see. So this, like I said, this was in January. This list was posted, and it was shared by the Full Force. So a lot of this stuff we've already seen predicted have come out and has been shown up, but some of it has not. And it's going to give us a little bit of an insight as to what possibly could be shown off in Yojo June, starting on Tuesday on PulseCon, the Pulse event. So let's see. So figures and vehicles that were on this list: Crankcase with the Awe Striker, Destro with the Despoiler, an unknown female with a polar battle bear, figure and pet, Dusty version 2 with Sandstorm, Sand Scorpion with Robot Scorpion, retro cards, retro Flint, retro Cover Girl, retro Bat, retro Televiper, retro Green Shirt, Retro Breaker, Retro Zarana, and Retro Major Blood. So now some of these we've already gotten. We got the Flint, we got the CoverGirl, we got the Bat, we got the Green Shirt, we got the Breaker. But the ones that we haven't got are Zarana and the Televiper and Major Blood. Now, we did just get the Major Blood as a mainline figure. So there may have been some reorganization there. But Major Blood was originally going to be a retro figure during the original versions of the retro figures that were at Walmart, and he got pulled. So maybe this is another version of Major Blood. So it seems a little odd that we would get two Major Bloods the same year, but we got three Cobra Commanders last year. And so we've gotten years where we had multiples of the same character. So that's not unprecedented. So there's a possibility we're going to get another. And these would be next year because the Hasbro team has already stated that the Green Shirt and the Bat retro would be the last for this year. So these three, Televiper, Zarana, and Major Blood, would be for next year. And so we don't know when the other Major Blood's going to come out, if it's going to be this year or not. With the tariffs, with the delays, with the shipping, all that, we don't know when we're going to get that. So it still may be next year. Let's see. We got the, let's see. Questionable Crow, we got the Mass Device Breaker. Are we thinking a Retro Breaker may still happen, or is that the fog of speculation? I believe it was the fog of speculation on these lists, because some of the stuff on this list has changed, Crusty Old Crow. But that is definitely a good point, and we'll see, because some of those Mass Device characters are kind of retro styled, right? With the divers, with the snake eyes, with the breaker. But then we got the CoverGirl as a retro, and that was more of a Mass Device kind of version of CoverGirl. So the fog of speculation definitely plays a part in this. All right, so then we're going to go into the 2-packs, the speculation from this list on the 2-packs. Come on, Buzz. That's a fun vehicle. A fun vehicle that I would love to see is the Pogo. It plays a very big part in my childhood as a child. A storyline in the Real American Hero series of comics in the 80s with Larry Hama, and I loved the story that the Pogo. So I can see why you love the Buzzbore, because I love the Pogo. So there you go. Thank you for that comment. All right, so 2-packs. The Night Creeper Leader and Budo. Now, see, that's a speculation that I don't think is going to come to be, because we just got the deluxe Budo that was Quinn from the leaked listings. Chris McLeod has already stated that that was Quinn Deluxe. So that 2-pack, this 2-pack, I don't think, unless it's a different version of Budo. There was a Ninja Force Budo that never got released as part of the next wave of Ninja Force figures in the 90s. It was going to be late 94, 95. That never got released. So maybe they would use some of that old stuff and re-release another Budo. It seems like they would want to reuse some of those molds on Budo for that 2-pack, but that's pretty close, I would guess, to another Budo, but who the hell knows? You know, that's the fog of speculation again, Lone Dragon. Oh, okay. That's interesting, Lone Dragon. You never had one, but you would love to have one. I'm not sure you. Oh, Atomic Arcade. Okay. Um, Yeah, I believe we're going to be getting both the Skyhawk and the Fang. But let me complete my list of this, and then we will get to that Lone Dragon. All right, so we got on this list is Night Creeper and the Leader and Budo, and then we also have another two-pack, Blackout and Bomb Strike. That's interesting because those are both brothers from the 2000 Devil's Due era. And we've been getting different things from that era. We got Kamakura, we got the Cobra tracker. I can't think of his name. If one of you guys can remember the tracker with the weird mask and the dreadlocks, put him in the thing. I can't recall his name off the top of my head. He was from the 2000s, so it's a possibility we could get Blackout and Bomb Strike, and then Grand Slam and Laser Viper. So Laser Viper and Grand Slam. So Grand Slam would be an OG. Oh, Shadow Tracker. That's right, Lone Dragon. Thank you very much. I can never, for some reason, remember Shadow Tracker's name. Um, so another two-pack, Grand Slam and Laser Viper. Grand Slam would be a major OG-13. So there was a speculation and a rumor that we're going to complete the OG-13 this year. And with some speculation as to what the next four-figure wave that has Flash in that wave, there's a big, strong case for that. And now possibly the HasLab with the Mobat and Steeler. There's and Hawk and the MMS is coming out. There's a very strong case that the OG-13 will finally be completed this year. So that's an interesting. Laser Viper is a really cool looking figure as well. So I think that would be a really cool two-pack. But I don't know if they would stick an OG-13 in a two-pack like that to do that. But let's see. Considering the 788 Fire team came out to support the HasLab 8 Hiss, do you think we will see one of the unidentified sets being dedicated to Battle Rattler support that's on its way soon? Definitely, Crusty Old Crow. I like when they do these type of sets that complement a HasLab. When they did Dragonfly last year, we got Doc, we got Airborne, we got Starduster. The only place where I think they dropped the ball is some sort of a play set type of a thing with the Dragonfly. We definitely should have got a landing pad with some sort of controls and maybe some weapons depot, something. I really think that would have been a good supplemental thing for the Dragonfly, but they dropped the ball on that and we never got that. Exactly, Lone Dragon, exactly, right? All right, let's get back to this. Oops. So then, now this is one that's very close to my heart. I hope we get this, and I believe it is on the cards because in the last interview that the Full Force did with the Hasbro team, Tony and I can't think of the other guy's name off the top of my head. Sorry, I'm having a bad memory problem today. He mentioned he loves Cesspool and would love to put Cesspool in the line. Cesspool and Unknown. I'm hoping maybe a Zombie Viper. Lenny, thank you. I don't know. I'm having a brain fart all of a sudden when I'm on the air, and that always happens. Let's see. Hold on. You guys are going fast tonight or today. um, Well, yeah, that is a good point, Crusty Old Crow. The anonymous Cobras, stuff like that. The Joes have much more regular people. Lenny, yes, thank you. Everybody said Lenny. I appreciate that. Um, um, no, I was talking about Lenny, not Emily. Um, Lone Dragon, because he was on the interview with the Full Force, the last one that they did a couple months ago after the Toy Fair, and he mentioned Cesspool on there. hit that like button. Thank you. And if you're not subscribed, please, I'm very, very close. I was going to get to that towards the end. Thank you, Crusty Old Crow. So cesspool is very near and dear to my heart. I would love a cesspool. I love the concept of cesspool and what that character stands for. And we already got the mole rats, which is a zombie kind of a character. I would love to get more zombies. That whole idea of zombies and people being infected by the energon. I would love a 2-pack of troops, zombified Viper, Cobra, infantry, Cobra Trooper. That would just make me giddy to no end. Let's see. Oh yeah, a Shark in Deep Six. Always wanted Shark. They would need to rework this. Now there was another version of the Shark that was in the 2000s. It was a much more um, durable version of the Shark, and you could get more figures, and it was a little bit better, I think. So I would hope for an upgraded Shark, and I think the way that they're doing some of these vehicles, like they did with the Hiss tank, and they did with the Dragonfly, and they're doing with the Rattler, updating them and making it more modernized and using a lot more better techniques. I would hope we get a better version of the Shark where we could get 2 figures in it, and it wouldn't be so static. But okay, let's get back to this list. So then we have single box figures. So this is figures that would be in 4-figure waves. So now a lot of these we are speculated for the next 4-figure wave, but we don't know yet because that's Yojo June first Pulse event is Tuesday. So we have Iceberg, we have Night Viper, we have Muskrat, we have Lifeline, Monkey Wrench, which you've already got Monkey Wrench in the last 4-figure wave, IG Baroness, IG Voltar, IG Darklon. So some of these are figures that are very likely because they're Iron Grenadier figures, and there's a very heavy hint of Iron Grenadiers to this list, and then a vintage Baroness, and there's been speculation that we would get a vintage Baroness because of the version that we got with the Rattler, and we would get that mass device, but version of the Baroness, but it was stated that at the last Pulse event that there were not going to be any more mass device figures for this year. We got the Breaker, we got the Snake Eyes with the Polar Bear, and we got the 2 Divers. So if they're going to do more mass device figures, they're going to be next year. So that Baroness wouldn't be till next year. Muskrat, I would love to get a Muskrat. He's a really cool character. And there's a lot of parts use that we could get for a Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and Fred Seven. Not Fred Seven, but his original character from the LRP team in Vietnam. So I think maybe that's you got to look at the parts use on some of these things, where they're gonna come wash out with the figures and stuff like that, what parts are available. And so a Muskrat has a lot of parts used to a LRP Snake Eyes, possibly from Collins. That's his name, Collins. That was part of the LRP team. Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes, Stalker, and Collins. So there you go, from the LRP team. Considering the new Frag Viper head, you'd have to believe the creative team has a thing for zombies themselves. I think we will see more, especially given recent G.I. Joe comics as well. I think that's correct. I do agree with you, Crusty Old Crow, on that. We've got to look at the tea leaves, you know? A lot of the things that have been coming out, we knew were obvious, like the MMS with Colonel Hawk. When they released the Techno Viper with the other version of the HMS, we knew it was obvious we're going to get an MMS with Colonel Hawk. It was a matter of time. You can almost read the tea leaves on some of these things. Some of the Tiger Force, some of the Python Patrols, you could see what was coming. Some of the Night Force, some of the Sergeant Slaughter Marauders. you knew you were going to get a Spirit, a low light. We know we're probably going to get a Mutt and Junkyard. So some of the tea leaves you got to figure out you're going to be getting some of this stuff. It's obvious, when they released Dusty a couple years back, I knew I was going to be getting a Tiger Force Dusty. It was obvious. We knew we were going to get Python Patrol, Crimson Guard. Those things were obvious. Once they started showing things in videos like Snake Eyes version 4, we knew we were going to get that. Um, uh, Not much. The Dreadnought. I can't think of his name. I'm having a bad memory episode this time. But the big Dreadnought with the big stone block. What the hell is his name? We knew we were going to get him because they showed that figure in one of the Pulse interviews. All that stuff. Copperhead, we saw that in a video. We knew we were going to get Copperhead. It's obvious. Some of these things you can pretty much predict, but this list has a lot of interesting things in it that we don't know. We know that there have been different groups that have been brought together to poll what HasLabs people wanted, and that's where we got the Thunder Machine, we got the Snowcat, we got the Mauler, we got the Havoc in one of those polling things for people. So we knew we were going to possibly get some of these as HasLab. We got the Rattler, so that was in one of those events, those polling events that people had, and so there's a lot of that type of stuff that you can pretty much predict. Any character that we've already seen that could possibly get a retro figure, you're probably going to get a retro figure of. Like maybe we'll get another Blowtorch, a retro. I would hope so because I love the vintage version of Blowtorch. Let's see. Yes. Yes. It's probably going to be some sort of a tank, and we're going to probably end up with a combination like they did with the HISS tank. There was a lot of additional things that were added to the HISS tank that made it more modular. So I believe we're going to get a tank, um, some form of a tank that is going to be more modular. When they did the Sergeant Slaughter Marauders vehicles in the late 80s, they moved all the tank turrets around. So you got the Wolverine, but it had a different turret. It had the turret from the Lynx, I think. And then when you got the Mauler, you got the Wolverine turret. And I could be saying these things out of order. So I think if we're going to get something, it's going to be a tank, and the turret is going to be modular. We're going to get 3 or 4 different turrets for this HasLab tank, and it's going to be more worth your money, and it's going to make people want to buy more HasLabs. So we're going to probably get a Wolverine turret. We're going to get a Mobat turret. We're going to get a Mauler turret. We may even get something that we don't even know that we're going to get that might be a cool modular thing, and we're going to get multiple drivers. We're going to definitely get Steeler. We're definitely going to get possibly Heavy Metal, and maybe if not Heavy Metal, his version that's part of the exclusive version, that's the rare version of Heavy Metal. So you just don't know. And yes, it was Road Pig. I'm having a bad episode with my memory. Thank you, Crusty Old Crow. You've been coming in as my pitch hitter on all these questions. Thank you very much. On these answers, I should say. So yeah, that's exactly it. So we're going to get more modular stuff. We're going to get different side pieces. We're going to get different accessories, mines or this, or missiles, or different things with these modular things. The question's going to be is, if we get Heavy Metal, if we get Steeler, who would be at minimum the third character. So if you're saying that Steeler, another OG-13, is going to be in this, would they put another OG-13? I don't think so. As much as I know people might want that, I don't see the Hasbro team sticking another OG-13 in a HasLab paywall. It's just they're not going to do that. Uh, oops. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Zomar. Sorry. Can you explain further? Because I'm not sure what you're talking about there. So I don't unfortunately think they're going to stick in another OG-13, but I think it's going to be a variant of somebody, maybe a Gaucho. That would be good because so far we've gotten a variant of the Baroness, we've gotten Quarrel, we've gotten different variants of Cobras in the hits. So I think it's going to be something like that. That's not going to be that difficult for them to recreate. We've gotten several different gung hos. We haven't seen a gung ho in a long time. So a Gaucho, he was a heavy armaments expert and tank repair guy. I think that would be a perfect person to stick in this, and it would hit that Palitoy Action Force quota of characters that normally possibly in the main line people probably wouldn't go for, but a lot of uh the people that are on the line would probably go for that as a HasLab character. Uh, well, but that's it. That's what I'm getting at exactly, Crusty Old Crow. That's why I think that was the perfect thing to do a Night Force Ripcord, a Night Force Crazy Legs as part of a HasLab because it's not something that people might want as a normal figure in the line. They want the main crazy, like the main Ripcord. They may put those behind a paywall for that exact reason. No, no, Crusty Old Crow, not the Energon universe. I'm talking about. Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, you're talking amongst yourselves. Okay. Um, so yeah, I think it's got to be something like a Quarrel or something like that, because I would personally be. I don't use profanity, but I would be pissed if they put the original Ripcord behind a paywall. That is one of my top 5 all-time favorite characters. So I'm very happy we got the variant Night Force version of that. We're gonna get a Ripcord. That's one of those low-hanging fruits, the obvious figures. We're gonna get a Crazy Legs, we're going to get a Ripcord at some point down the road. And so that's what I was talking about earlier. But for a paywall, a HasLab, it's got to be a character that we're not going to have in the main line. It's got to be some sort of a variant or some sort of out of the box international like Gaucho. And that's something that is perfect with a tank because he's a tank repair uh, expert. So if it came with anybody that was a character you could stick in the main line, like they didn't do it with Airborne and Doc, and they mentioned that on that Pulse event, they're like, no, we believe people would be upset at us if we stuck Doc or Airborne with the Dragonfly, and they were 100% accurate on that. I don't know if people would be happy about that. Even though I think Marlon Wayne's unique interpretation of Ripcord was different, I don't think people would care for that. That's just my opinion. But if they wanted to play both sides of the Ripcord game, I guess they could stick an alternate African version of the head in there. I don't see it, but I don't know what Hasbro is going to do. They really did a good job in that Budo figure using the modern ceremonial Buddha and the interpretation from Devil's Due. There was a lot more, had a lot more pathos, a lot more drama to the character. We did not see a lot of Budo in the early A Real American Hero comics or the animation. He got skipped over in the Sunbow animation for that era Budo did, so we didn't get to see a lot of it. So I was very happy that we got those two versions. We're getting those two versions of Budo. I think that was the perfect marriage for a deluxe figure. Thank you for the comment, though, Lone Dragon. Uh, Classified Berserker. Where is that shown? I haven't seen that. Lone Dragon. But getting back to what I said, so it's got to be something like that. If it's going to be a heavy armament vehicle, some sort of a tank, I believe it's going to be modular. I believe it's going to definitely have a steel or heavy metal and a variant of a character. You look at the tea leaves. You gotta look at the pattern that HasLabs have done, and I don't believe the HasLab's gonna be revealed. We may get a clue during Yojo June, but we're not going to get it till San Diego Comic-Con. They're going to follow suit with what they did with the Dragonfly, not the Dragonfly, the Rattler last year, and the so I think that's what we're going to get. I do look forward to getting my Rattler, but I'm curious if we're going to get a better video of the Rattler, because they showed the Rattler off at San Diego Comic-Con last year, and they were trying to do the VTOL, and they had a hard time working the VTOL parts in and out during that presentation. Lenny couldn't get it to work. So I would prefer to see a new video during Yojo June where they show that VTOL, because there were technical problems with previous HasLabs. So I hope they show that mechanism better in a video during Yojo June and show that off. Let's see. Let's see what everybody's saying. Oh, I understand what you're saying now, Berserker, Lone Dragon. So everybody's talking to one another in there in the chat. Thank you very much, everybody in the chat. So that is something that I hope they show a video of the Rattler. So the pie in the sky, I hope that we get a Havoc. That's something we can only get in a paywall situation because of the political correctness of Cross Country. That's my favorite vehicle, is the Havoc, and Cross Country is my favorite vehicle driver. And I think that's something that not everybody's going to go in for as a maybe a PulseCon or whatever vehicle, but they would as a vehicle for HasLab, because you could get two versions of Cross Country. You can get the later version in the 90s, and you could get the traditional politically incorrect version of Cross Country that way. And I don't think Cross Country falls into the same category as a Hooded Cobra Commander. Maybe I'm a little naive on that, but Cross Country is my favorite vehicle driver because I love the Havoc, and he drives the Havoc. And we can get the hovercraft. We can get a lot of extra armaments. Imagine the Havoc. It's going to be absolutely huge with that hovercraft and the ability to put two figures laying down in there and then several figures on the sides. It's just, the imagination just goes over as to who would be included. But again, I don't think they would use any characters that would be mainline. Like Lifeline, I think would definitely be a deluxe figure. Um, Mainframe would definitely be a mainline figure. So I don't think either of those would be included. Two cross countries definitely could possibly be included. Maybe a possibility to add some extra Tiger Force additions like armaments, maybe different attachments that could convert the Havoc into a Tiger Force version and a mainline, and maybe do three versions of cross country: Tiger Force, 90s cross country, and politically incorrect cross country. But would a HasLab, would people support three cross countries with a HasLab, or would they want somebody else to go with it? Maybe you could stick a different version of another character in there. I'm not sure who, like maybe a Jammer, maybe somebody else from Palatoy. I don't recall if the Havoc was a Palatoy. I think it was a Palatoy Action Force vehicle, and it came out pretty much the way that the Havoc was, if I recall my Action Force history. But the way my memory is going in this episode, I don't know. Some of my Palatoy Action Force guys out there, if you're watching this video, chime in to make to correct me if I'm incorrect. Now this is interesting. Make a female version, and she drops the Q and the R from country. That's very funny, Lone Dragon. Thank you. Um, let's see. Uh, Crusty Old Crow. I think the larger Joe vehicles need to be marketed differently than what they do now. I'd like to see them cut costs and start sending them out as disassembled sets. I can build a Mobat, save. Uh, I think eventually we're going to start getting those type of things. Um, uh, yeah, funny again, Lone Dragon. I do think we're going to start getting those. I think Hasbro is going to start releasing his tanks at some point that are going to be where you could put it together like we got with the Stinger, and we're going to probably get with the Striker. We'll probably get the Striker shown off with Crankcase during Yojo June, and the Stinger and the Vamp. So I do believe we're going to get his tanks sooner rather than later. That will be more build his tank. It will not have all the electronics, will not have all the extra armaments, and it'll come with different things, different drivers. We will get the septic tank, we will get the Arctic Hiss, we will get the blue version 3 Hiss tank with that driver. I cannot think of the driver for the Hiss version 3. I do agree with you. I think we're going to get those type of things, Crusty Old Crow. Um, um, yeah, that's the balancing act of this whole thing, Crusty Old Crow. So that's where we go into the vintage line, I think. Um, uh, Yep, that's exactly right, Christopher Crow. I think where we can get some of these versions of these characters, more vintage version, like the Wild Bill is a perfect example. Let's see, where is I think I put Wild Bill back here. There's a different version, a Sunbow version of Wild Bill we can get as a retro card. Since we pretty much got the vintage version with the Dragonfly, this is the perfect example of a mass device character we could get as a retro carded figure down the road. That's exactly it. Correct, Crusty Old Crow. and I would buy more vehicles if they were 25 cheaper and didn't come with generic drivers. I mostly would swap out the named characters anyway. Well, there you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. These vehicles would have zombie vipers, or they would have Rip It. That was the driver of the third version of the Hiss, or they would have like a different Arctic Bat or somebody with the Arctic Hiss. That's exactly correct. You could get troop builders with that you wouldn't necessarily need to get a mainline character. Uh, there you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. Um, That's exactly it, Krusty Old Crow. So that's where we would need to get characters, re-released vehicle drivers that would not be behind a paywall. Eventually, maybe we get a different version of Steeler, a Sunbow version of Steeler, because the figure and the Sunbow don't look that much alike. There's I think it's a Grand Slam where he's very similar to a Palatoy, a Moon Dancer figure. If you look at your Palatoy characters and you look at the Grand Slam, they look very similar in their color deco, and there's two versions of that. So if they stuck a Moon Dancer in with the Mauler or the Mobat with Steeler and Heavy Duty, that would be something you could repaint and do a vintage version of Grand Slam in the main line. Um, Exactly. See there, you've hit it right on the head, Lone Dragon. You could get three versions of the Odd Striker now. You can get a Tiger Force version with a different version of a Tiger Force character that has yet to be released. You can get a Eco Striker with an Eco character, maybe a different version of Airtight. It has bothered me for decades that they made Flint the leader of the Eco Warriors and not Airtight. So maybe we get Eco Warriors Flint. That would just annoy me if they put a Flint variant out as an Eco Warrior, but sticking him with the Eco Striker, that makes perfect sense. That it would be a character that you wouldn't buy normally because he shouldn't have been in that wave. And I've talked to Vinny D'Aleva, and go to my interview with Vinny D'Aleva, and he explains the whole Eco Warriors Airtight Flint scenario. So that is exactly what I'm talking about, Krusty Old Crow and Lone Dragon. Uh, Well, that's the thing. The way that they did the steel core, I think was a unique thing because you could make a troop builder with different characters as a steel core. You could put a person's head on it, make him a steel core, or you could put the steel core on another character. The heads are swappable now, so there's more modularity about this line than there was originally. So I don't know about that. In that case, Crystal Crow. Um, Well, yes, I agree with you. I would prefer Airtight over completing the OG13 this year because there's a lot more modular ability. For Airtight, like I said, the Eco Warriors, Cesspool, the Septic Tank, Zombies. There's a whole line of things, Zombie Vipers, Monster Vipers, all this stuff that Airtight fits perfectly into. We have not even touched the surface of what that character's capabilities is in classified with the modern way that they're doing this. They're classifying this up. There's a whole technology, a whole futuristic approach to Airtight that hasn't even been touched on. That, my God, it's once they're done with the Dreadnoks and they're done with the Iron Grenadiers, I can see nothing but Eco warriors, high tech sci-fi monsters, zombies, and all that. Uh, Bring it on. I love all that. I want all that. Please. Okay, Krusty Old Crow. Thank you for coming on and commenting, and being part of the chat. We appreciate it. Um, So yes, so there's been a lot of speculation and stuff like that, and we're just gonna have to wait until next Tuesday to see what happens. I hope some of the things in this list that was revealed by the full force in January comes to be. All that stuff, it would be kind of cool. Some of it, I'm not sure. Some of it, I think, is maybe moved around, like the Major Blood and the Baroness retro and different things like that. We'll just have to wait and see. So I wanted to show off a couple things that I've gotten over the last couple weeks. We'll close this off. And I think this is a perfect transition because look at how they did this rock and roll. So if they're going to change rock and roll this drastically to make it more vintage OG13, then we're going to definitely be getting a lot more vintage OG13s in retro packaging. We got Stalker, we got Scarlet, we got Snake Eyes. So all the characters, the OG13, I think maybe we'll get another breaker. That's a Sunbow inspired breaker. It's not really the OG13 version of breaker. So I think we'll get another breaker. So I think all that OG13 is far from done when it comes to their vintage versions. And I love this. I think this looks really good. They've added a lot more accessories to him. He looks really inspired for that OG13. So thank you, Hasbro, for that. And then I got my vintage version of the Viper. Now they changed this Viper quite a bit from the original version of the Viper. I talked on the Toy Talk a couple weeks back about this, and the crotch is the original. Parts of the arms are the original, like the wrist guards of the original. The helmet's still the original. I would have liked to have gotten a more vintage style helmet, but I guess because they had to redo the arms, and I think they took either Breaker's arms, or I think it might have been Outback's top arms, and they definitely added a lot more in the legs. Some of the legs are different. So there's a lot of different parts used here, mix and match, but they definitely went hog wild with the accessories. They gave the Viper a different backpack that's more vintage inspired, which I was happy about. The color deco is a lot more brighter, whereas the other version, the 2022 version, was more muted. Even though the muted versions is a more classified up scale of the Viper, which I enjoy that upscale classified version as a middle ground where I think the line should remain. And the fact that they did this vintage version is exactly what I want them to do. I want that middle ground as far as the main line goes, upscaling it, that classified futuristic a little bit, and then keeping this vintage closer to the vintage that meets both audiences, and then throw in some homages and some fun stuff in the figures along the way. So I think another successful release with this figure. My Dr. Mindbender is supposed to be here today, and so I could not add him onto this video. He's supposed to arrive later this afternoon, so unfortunately I could not show him off. But I did want to show this bat off from Super 7, and this was like 8 months in the delivery. I could not get it at super7.com, and I missed out on the pre-order because it sold out. But I got it through Big Bad Toy Store, and it took 8 months for them to get it because I guess there was a restocking situation going through Super 7, so I had to get from Super 7 to Big Bad Toy Store and to me. But I love it. It's the comic book version of the bat. This is the Reaction Plus bat that was released last year. Why are we talking about what, Samara? Can you uh, clarify that, please? This is a GI Joe channel. We talk about GI Joes, and sometimes we talk about speculation, and we want to get have a fun discussion about Yojo June and what we can expect and the possibilities from that list. That's why I talked about that list. And so I'm talking about this because this is something that I got. The toys, this is a toy channel. This is a GI Joe channel. And yeah, all the reasons I mentioned earlier. So this is Super 7 Reaction Plus, but I love Super 7's reaction, and I look forward to all the fun stuff that we could possibly get for O-Ring from them. Reaction Plus. We've gotten the Zartan Cold Slither, and we're getting the San Diego Comic-Con figures of the Cold Slither band as a San Diego Comic-Con set. They already showed off the Zartan in their last stream, so it's fun. People love speculating. People love to talk about the what ifs. It's just part of this genre toy podcast. Speculation is just part of it. Somar. So feel free to speculate all you want in the chat. I'll highlight any comments that you have pertaining to certain speculation that we are talking about in the chat. So yes. Also, Yojo June, we're going to be getting Joe Fest. I have my Joe Fest 2025 shirt. So it's just everybody does that. Everybody does that, Somar. It's just part of it. We all do it in all the channels. It's just what we do. Um, Sorry about that. But that's part of it, part of what we do it for. So Yojo June, we're going to be getting Joe Fest is coming in a couple of weeks. So if any of you want to chat or talk to me at Joe Fest, I will be there, and we can talk about some of the cool stuff. I do believe we're going to probably get the MMS revealed with Colonel Hawk. We're going to get the Ostriker revealed with Crankcase. I hope we get a lot of the stuff that we've got renders of, like Slice and Dice, which I love Slice and Dice. I'm looking forward to getting those. We're definitely probably going to get the bat, the retro bat, and the retro green shirt, which is a must. I think those two are going to be huge sellouts, especially the green shirt. So we're probably going to get maybe Sergeant Slaughter and Mercer, since that's been talked about. We've seen different leaks of those two. So that's a lot of the things I think will get shown off on Tuesday, June 4th, for the first PulseCon event. And at some point during the month, I think we'll get the leak for the HasLab. Oh, I'm sorry, Lone Dragon. I would love to meet you in person to thank you for your involvement in the channel. I really appreciate it. I would love to talk with you. I'm unfortunately, sorry, not everybody can go to all the events. I would love to do more events myself. I try to do 3 or 4 a year, but I understand that completely. Finances and stuff like that, I completely understand. Um, ha, hey, you never know. Down the road, they've got technology for that. So you never know. Down the road, you might be able to do that. Um, Lone Dragon. There you go. Um, So let's see. I think maybe we're going to get a lot more announcements from other parts of the brand, like Skybound. I would guess we would get some interesting Skybound news as to a possibility of crossover or something from them. Hopefully, we'll get some more Super 7 news. I would like to get some more Renegade Game Studios news. What other parts of the brand would you like to see some news at Yojo June? Because it's not only Hasbro. There's a lot of companies that are making Joe merchandise and GI Joe branded merchandise. Ah, that is hilarious. I'm not going to read that comment. I'll let the people read that comment, Lone Drake. But that is hilarious. I love that. And that's why this is an adult's channel, Lone Dragon, which, it's perfectly fine, but I love that. That's hilarious. So is everybody in the chat, let me know what you would love to see come out of Yojo June, whether it be comic news, whether it be Renegade Game Studios, Super 7, other companies that have GI Joe branded merchandise. Maybe we can get another drop of the Snake Eyes AAA game. That would be excellent. Maybe we can get a small little video of that. It. I would love to see more of that video game. I really would. It looks like it's going to be awesome. So that is maybe we'll get some Haya. There's another GI Joe branded line. Haya is like way ahead. We're in like close to 30 figures now, 27 or 28 figures in. I only have like maybe 6 Haya figures, so we got a long way to go. So if they start revealing more Haya figures, I'm not sure if people are gonna be upset or happy about that. I'll be happy because I love the Haya figures. I would love to get more. They're very difficult. I'm hoping some of the retail merchant companies like Walmart, Target, Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, GameStop could maybe try to make some sort of arrangement with Haya to get some of that stuff in the United States. Now, with everything that's going on, I'm not sure how likely that would be, and if it is, how expensive Haya figures would be. But I'm paying an average of $60 a figure now to get the 6 that I've gotten. So, it's going to be an expensive endeavor if you're going to collect Haya figures. That's just my 2 cents on that. So I would hope we would get some shocking announcements, maybe of some content, maybe Skybound, being that they're doing Invincible animated series, or they've done all this Walking Dead content. Maybe they can announce some sort of content. I would love some GI Joe branded content to come out. The last GI Joe branded content has been, I guess, Resolute. No, Renegades in 2013, Retaliation 2012. Yeah, it's been more than a decade that we've gotten content, not including the video games and not including comics. So, in case someone's going to correct me there, I would love to have some sort of content announced by Hasbro, by Skybound, by someplace else. So there's a lot of the stuff. Um, I I look forward to my fellow community of GI Joe podcasters out there. I look forward to all their programs, the Talking Joe, the Full Force, the Circle of Jerks, and my show, Toy Talk. Um, Showing off a lot of this stuff and talking about a lot of this stuff. So I look forward to all that content. And I look forward to Joe Fest. And I hope to see as many of you guys out there to Joe Fest is absolutely possible. I'm a very busy person when it comes to Joe Fest. And there's a lot of great guests for Joe Fest this year. We're going to have Seth Green is going to be returning with some shocking special guests. We also have a huge lineup of voice actors. We're going to have Zartan. We're going to have Storm Shadow. We're going to have Quick Kick. We're going to have Dr. Mindbender. So a lot of those figures you can get signed and meet these guys. I've met most of them before. They are wonderful guests. We're going to have Gem, Samantha Newark, so you can get your Gem doll from Loyal Subjects signed by Samantha Newark. I've done an interview with her. She is a wonderful, wonderful person to talk to, and they'll be one of the original creators of Gem at Joe Fest. We're going to have tons of vendors, tons of different creators that work on their own brands. Dan Klingensmith, Carson Metaxas, 3D Joes. We're going to have Delta Force. We're going to have Carson's I can't think of the name of Carson's. Sorry, Carson. Operation Recall. I got that one. Operation Recall. We're gonna see Matt LaCroix and the Fumbles exclusive figure will be there. There'll be tons of exclusive. Big Bad Toy Store will be there. There'll be tons and tons of vendors. I'm trying to think of everybody that's going to be there, but there's so much cool stuff that's going to be at Joe Fest. So I look forward to all of you coming and saying hello and chatting with me. I love the community, this community. I love everybody. Patrick Stewart from Articulated Points will be there as well. Talking Joe. Mike Arizari and his brother will be there. So we're going to have tons of people at Joe Fest this year. It's going to be a fun reunion. Sergeant Slaughter. If you've never met Sergeant Slaughter, he's like one of the highlights. Yes, Ace from Roma Toys is going to be. Oh, Roma Collectibles will also be there. Thank you, Lone Dragon. Yes. So Roma Collectibles and Ace from Roma Toys will be there. Yes. But Sergeant Slaughter, one of the most wonderful people you could ever meet, is going to be there. And if you get the Slaughter's headlock, he'll give you a challenge coin for your trouble, and it doesn't hurt that much. I've done it. I got a challenge coin. Zazel from Australia has the record for getting it like 8 or 9 times, so he's got like 8 or 9 coins. Well, that's a shame, Lone Dragon. I wish you could go, because Sergeant Slaughter is one of the highlights of the show. And there's 2 different opportunities to sit and talk with him. There's the breakfast, and he's got a new event, a late night with Sergeant Slaughter, that he can be a little bit looser with the stories that he can't be with the family breakfast. And that is worth it, because I've sat with him and had drinks with him late at night, and he is so cool. The stuff he has to contribute is wonderful. So everybody out there, if you have an opportunity to go to Joe Fest, please do. It will be worth your time and efforts to go. I would not be any place else during that time. So I want to say thank you, everybody in the chat, for contributing to this Yojo June episode 2025. I want to say everybody that watches this after the fact, thank you again. I'm very happy for my audience and my subscribers. And again, we are very, very close to that 100 mark. Please like, share, subscribe, and click the notification button if you want to see more from my channel. I hope I bring a good vibe. I hope I bring a good attitude to this community, to you guys. I try not to be negative. I'm going to be honest when I don't like something, or if I do like something, I will be honest. That's just who I am in person, and I'm very down to earth most of the time, and I hope I bring that to you guys. So I appreciate all the subscribers that I do have, and I look forward to the future in this community with this channel. And I love that everybody has really come out today to be part of this episode. So I'm going to say, Yojo June. Thank you. See you in the next one.